I want to give you all the opportunity to become an NFL owner. You have all the money in the world to acquire any player that you would like to acquire. Tell me something. What player or what type of player are you looking for in order to know where your money should go? Can somebody answer this question? Solomon.
Skilled.
Skilled, okay. Skilled. You want the best. Hands down. Good. You want the best. I am willing to give all of my money to the people who I feel are the best. Now let's transition. We're going to become NFL general managers. The job of a general manager is to assemble the team. Tell me, Ezra Haber, you're putting together an NFL franchise. Give me your top 5 players that you're putting on your team. Doesn't matter who it is. Go. Tom Brady. Anybody. Doesn't matter. Le'Veon Bell. Antonio Brown. Julio Jones. Anybody? Rob Gronkowski. Fantastic. Let me ask you a question. Why is it that you didn't assemble a team full of old quarterbacks? Financially speaking, if you looked at the highest paid players of last season, the top 14 players on that list are all quarterbacks. They are considered to be the best, which is why they were recognized for the highest value financially. But why, when you were putting a team together, Ezra, did you not put together a list of all quarterbacks? Because how foolish would it be to think that putting a team together of all players of the same position could actually win you a ball game? Right? We needed to reach out to different positions, even though it meant that they were less skilled from a financial standpoint, to put together a team that could win. When we are removed from the situation, we are able to be objective and figure out how we should assemble a unit for success. When we are in it, we struggle. And let me tell you why I think why. Could be a lot of reasons. I'm going to highlight 2 of them. And hopefully that'll help us understand why we do what we do. The first is jealousy. And the second is to something I like to call the fear of the unknown. Let's start with jealousy. Let's understand what it is and what it does to us. Jealousy is the constant comparison between our life in a whole sense and others that are only giving us bits and pieces in a positive light. What does that mean? When people want to show who they are and what they're about and what they're involved in, they manipulate the situation to only show the positive and the good. I'll give you some examples. If I'm going out for dinner, I'm going to want to look good. I may put on some new clothes. I may maybe style my hair. If I'm a girl, maybe that means I'm putting on some makeup. I want to look nice. If I'm applying for a new job, on my resume, I'm going to put together all the things that I believe that I'm good at. Very rarely do people show what they're weak at or what they're bad at. Just look at Snapchat. How many people in this room will take a picture of themselves or of a situation that they're in, and then they'll decide, no, this picture's not good enough. I need to retake it because this is not how I want other people to see what I'm looking like or what I'm doing. We all do it. Because when we put ourselves out there in the world, we want to control how people view us, and we want people to view us in a good way. The problem becomes when I'm constantly comparing myself and my weaknesses to everybody's perfection. Eli Mizrahi, I want you to be completely honest with me. If I gave you $100 right now on the spot, how would you feel?
Great.
You would feel great. What if I gave Alex Sutton $1,000 right after I gave you that 100? How would you feel about that 100? You'd feel upset. What if I told you that Alex Sutton's house was robbed last night? The family lost $10,000. We were able to recover 1,000 of those dollars. How would you now feel about those same $100 I gave you originally? A little bit better. The fact that we are willing to devalue what we own, what we have, because we're comparing it to bits and pieces of somebody else's assumed perfection, makes us live a life of resentment, of unhappiness. We're so busy worrying about what we have that's not so great and assuming that what everybody else has is amazing. Let's go to the fear of the unknown. The fear of the unknown is simply, I'm afraid or I feel threatened by things that are not familiar to me. So when it comes to putting together my group of friends, typically what we do is we'll say, well, I know myself and I'm comfortable with myself. So I'm going to allow in people that are similar to me. And people that are not similar to me, not so comfortable with because I just don't know them well enough. And I don't want to give them the time of day, so piss. I don't need them in my life. The problem with that, boys, is how are you going to achieve success? When Ezra Haber put together his fantasy football team, he didn't give me all quarterbacks. He didn't give me all people that are all the same. He gave me a quarterback, a receiver, a running back, a defender, a tight end. Henry Ford. Anybody ever heard of this person? Who is Henry Ford? Norman.
Maker of Ford.
I'm sorry?
Maker of Ford.
Maker of Ford. What is he famous for? Jacob.
Making the first automobile.
Okay, not necessarily. What is he famous for? Michael.
Cars.
Okay. Something more specific. Benny.
Made the car.
Okay, we're on the right track. We're almost there. Solomon.
Used to race.
No. And maybe, I don't know. Noah.
He made like the first working automobile.
Oh, electronic without horses.
No. Last one, Alan. Okay, so
Like he made a new type of car. Like, a new type of car. The only one was one part.
good. Okay. Henry Ford was a businessman. He was manufacturing cars. He decided that when he looked at his manufacturing process, it was taking too much time. The labor that he had to pay for in order to manufacture a car, the cost was too expensive. So he had an idea, revolutionary idea. He decided instead of the same person taking all of the pieces that make up a car and putting it together, he would allow for different people to bring together different pieces to assemble it all at the same time. He cut down the manufacturing time from 12 hours to 2.5. The money that he saved on labor was reflected in the cost of his car, and all cars made by Ford were much cheaper than all of his competition at the time. Here's what we need to understand, boys. You're going to navigate your life with your skill set and with the help of others. Now let's focus on your skill set. If you are constantly comparing your skill set to that of others, and we fill in blanks and we assume that the bits and pieces we're getting from other people that they're controlling and what they want us to see is all perfect and beautiful, then we're never going to feel satisfied with the work we put out, and therefore it'll make the quality of what we put out that much worse than it could have been. And if we're so worried about surrounding ourselves with the same type people, with the people that we feel comfortable with, where is that going to get us? Who's going to be that person that looks at themselves and says, I'm not so comfortable with the people that I don't self-identify with, but I recognize that one day these people may be able to help me. There may come a time in my life where I'm going to need some help because I can't do something on my own. And if all I have around me are the people that are just like me, well, they won't be able to help me either because they're just like me. If I have people around me who are different, who have different skill sets, but I appreciate and I embrace the difference amongst us, then maybe that one day could look like this. I can't do something on my own, but I got a friend who knows how to do what I don't. And he can't do something that I can. And we can work together to move farther than I could have done on my own. So who's going to look at themselves differently and say, maybe I'm going about this the wrong way. Maybe I shouldn't be so concerned about what I see of others, and I should learn to appreciate the things that I have. $100 is $100. Without caring about somebody else's significantly higher money, I need to learn how to appreciate what I have. And I need to learn how to work together with others who are different than me so that it can better my potential for the future. Shabbat Shalom.
Okay, sis.